Hey, this is Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com, and today we are going to have a conversation with Manmeet, who is an AlphaClub member and runs her own MicroStartup. So Manmeet, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you.
So Manmeet, I want to ask you that you have been an entrepreneur for quite a few years right now. So how did the journey start?
The journey started back in 2019, right after I got married. I took the risk of quitting my job and starting a business because I no longer had to take care of the expenses. I could use my husband as a soft cushion because I knew that the expenses will be taken care of. And when I started, my idea was, both me and my husband are Japanese language experts. Our idea was that I'll do digital marketing and we'll have edge above the other translators and interpreters because now we are just not language experts, we are experts who know digital marketing as well. And that was the idea. The idea was to go to Japan and get business and build a business in India with the Japanese companies only. But as we all know, COVID happened. That could never happen because Japan as a country is extremely professional. You have to meet them to gain their trust. You have to do that in-person meeting, which could never happen. So I thought, okay, हो सकता है कुछ महीनों के लिए होगा. Let me just do it here, build a portfolio, and then I'll go. But there was no going back because COVID lasted a long time, and I kind of felt settled here. And that's how I built my first website. So because I was launching my own business now, I did not have anybody else to hire. I had to do it on my own. I had done a digital marketing course. And it took me 4 months to do my own WordPress website that time. And I launched it on all my social media platforms, my WhatsApp, saying I'm launching my baby, my business. And everybody thought that I could be a designer. And that's where I started. I thought that if people are giving me the business of designing website, I started designing websites. Very soon in the journey, I realized that I am in a loop of working in the business and on the business. I am the one doing the websites, but when I'm doing the websites, it's taking me longer and there is no one to go and get business from me. So I'm stuck in a loop. The payments are longer and websites take much longer and a lot of revisions to happen. So what do I do now? I saw an opportunity to include social media marketing into it because that's a recurring amount now. So I got social media marketing thinking, okay, I'll do the websites and social media marketing so that I know that for the next month, this is the amount of revenue coming in. While I was doing that, very soon I realized that people are paying very less to me is because social media marketing doesn't result in anything. And even websites do not result in anything. Someone who's generating leads for them is getting the money on the website that I built. So that is when I got performance marketing, Facebook ads into it. As I dwelled there, I understood that the leads were coming in, but the conversions were not, and clients were coming back to me saying कि lead तो आ रहा है लेकिन पैसे नहीं आ रहे, quality lead नहीं है. I could not help them understand that you need to nurture the lead. Somebody who's coming in today might not buy today. They will take time to, like you said, build relationship with you and then buy from you. And that is when I introduced a component of email marketing where we build a one-time sequence for them and some value-driven emails every week to make sure that the customer is very nurtured and well prepared before they come on the sales call on any type of sales that is happening. And that is how over the last 5 years, I've built a system now specifically for coaches. There was no niche until the last year, but now I've built it specifically for coaches. And this has happened because I was listening to the customer and I was understanding, okay, which piece is missing and how can I make their life better, which eventually made my agency better.
Awesome.
So that's my journey.
Fantastic. So when I talk about micro startups, I usually tell people that you have to focus on services and education as well. But when it comes to education, you can either become a coach yourself, which I think you had a little bit of tested the waters with.
Yes.
But even if you are not a coach, you still have to educate. You still have to show the world that you are an expert at something.
Right.
So how did you get your first client? Did you just do a direct cold outreach and get them? How did they trust you that you are an expert in what you are doing?
Okay, so I think I'll share my first client story here and how the education part came in very well here, and I did not realize up until this moment that that was education, but now that you've asked this question, I realized no, I was educating people. So first of all, for the first 3-4 years of my business, no digital marketing strategies have worked, such as a cold email or doing outreaches of that sort. Referrals have worked the best for me, and they worked because I used WhatsApp a lot. So like people create videos on Instagram and create content on Instagram, I was creating a lot of content on my WhatsApp stories, considering the fact that my number has the biggest database so far of people who know me. If there are, let's say, merely 500 contacts in my phone, all 500 of them would know me, because that's how they've also saved my contacts. So anything that I was doing, I was slightly documenting. Like once I announced that I'm launching my business, my baby, I did this 2-3 times with 2-3 different things. And that's how one of my husband's side's relative came forward to me. He was working in Dubai, and he said, we want a landing page. And I think I was paid around $100 or $150 for that one landing page, which came to me through that WhatsApp story. Only because I was telling people what I'm doing and what works, what does not work. So I think that was a part of education. If I did not do that, I would be sitting in my home with my laptop, nobody knowing I have a micro startup.
Exactly. So that's what I recommend a lot of people who are just getting started. The fastest way to make some revenue is to offer some services.
Right.
As an employee, if you want to join a company, then as an employee also you are offering some services. Your retainer is your monthly salary.
Right.
Your client is your employer. So we can look at it that way.
Yes.
So in this case, you basically leveraged your personal network and professional network, and you started with just posting WhatsApp stories, which is anybody can do.
Yes.
And that's when people notice, because as I say, content, attention, trust, transaction.
Yes.
Without that content, nobody is going to pay attention.
Right. And I think one thing that also worked in my favor was that I was feeding them again and again. Now in India, there is this concept कि आसपास के लोग ना दूरबीन लगाए आपको देख रहे हैं आप क्या कर रहे हो.
Yes.
So I kept that in my mind. Maybe nobody is applauding for me. Maybe they are not responding. But once I swipe up and see how many people I've seen, 100 people, 150 people. Those are real 150 people if I put in a room watching my story day after day, every 2-3 days, and watching my journey.
Exactly.
So ultimately I will gain their trust and they will come back to me. So that is the power that I was using.
Okay. So when you got your first client, if you don't mind sharing, what was the transaction amount approximately?
Yes, like I said, it was $100 to $150 for a single landing page, which translated very well in the Indian currency.
Nice.
Yeah.
So until now, I think you have primarily focused on getting international clients who pay in US dollars.
Yes.
And when it comes to trying to scale this business, how did your future clients come, and right now, how much revenue are you making?
Okay, so right now I'm making anywhere between 5 lakhs to 6 lakhs as an agency owner. And the first 2-3 years, the clients came through referrals only. One client came, they worked with us, they liked us, and they referred us to second client. And meanwhile, this was happening. I always made sure that I'm feeding people with what I'm doing in terms of education and content. I would use this as a vocal strategy as well. Wherever I would go, even before quitting my job, I had made up my mind that I want to do a business. So wherever I would go, it would be a friend's function, it would be a family function, wherever I would go, I would tell them that what I'm doing. I even got into family conversations saying if a brother or a sister or some cousin is doing some kind of business, okay, I'll do this for you and I'll charge this amount. Just to do that beta testing for myself. So while I was doing it on WhatsApp, I was also very vocal about what I'm doing and educating people that this is how it can help you. And I was a part of a lot of communities, online communities. For example, I'm still a part of Elementor as a community. I'm part of Zenler as a community. Because we use these tools, all of these tools give you an option to be a part of their online communities. And they host online events as well. Even Elementor has the online sessions that happen every 15 days. Zenler has a lot of online sessions. So I hopped into these communities, became active, started putting my value. If somebody had a question, I would answer that question for them and leave it there. I would not say anything. They would say that this girl has knowledge, she has something to contribute, and then they would come to me. It was always inbound clients coming to me asking for my services, because I dropped a bomb, I gave them a value and I left. I never asked them for anything. So that is how people started coming to me.
So one of the basic rules of marketing is that you need to trigger that reciprocation, which means that you are providing a lot of upfront value. And once people have received value from you, they will feel like, okay, I can give some opportunity to them back.
Right. And that's how the conversation started, because they felt that I just helped them. I did not ask for anything. So they came back to understand me more. The conversation started opening up.
Yeah.
Few people worked with me. Those few international clients who liked me referred me to someone else. And that's how the entire agency built in the last 4 years.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So initially you would have started out like a freelancer who
Yes.
is operating individually, but at
Yes.
some point you would have decided to hire somebody.
Yes.
So how was that transition? When did you feel like, okay, this is the right time that I need to hire somebody because I am so overwhelmed with the amount of work? So how did you hire? Where did you hire from? And how did you decide how much to pay that person?
Okay, I think, I still contemplate as to how did I take those decisions back then, but I'll try to justify this answer. One, I think definitely the decision to hire someone was when a freelancer starts to reach a burnout stage and is also in that loop of working in the business and on the business. You need those additional hands, because as an entrepreneur, as someone who's running a micro startup, your responsibility is to get the sales. Because if the sales don't come in, then everybody working with you or you working alone will not be able to sustain it for a long while.
Yeah.
So I think I tried multiple hires in the second and the second year or after the second year, where I felt that this is a major part of the job. If let's say I'm designing a website, the design would be a major part of the job and the execution can be easy. I can sit for hours or maybe outsource on a small level, but the design is the major level. So I would start hiring and looking at which is the 80% of the work, if I outsource, will make my life a little better so that I can focus on sales. I went on hiring between communities only. I have tried LinkedIn a lot of times, but it was not successful for me, maybe for other people, but it was not successful for me. The best people I found was a part of communities, your community, mentors that I'm a part of, or the communities that I am a part of as a student. That is where I found the best people, because they were already students and they already had the mindset of the mentor they were already following. So that is the best place I found people. When it comes to the salary, I did not know how to decide a salary or what to pay or what the industry standards are. I looked at the economics that I was getting, what the client is paying me, how much can I give to the person that the person will stay with me, will not feel that I am being paid peanuts. At the same time, I save some money so that I can sustain the business going forward. So that was the confusion that was back then.
Yeah, and it's all, I believe, work from home, no offline office or anything like that.
Even today, I have a team of 9 people now, including myself. All of us are remote and working from home.
Fantastic.
Yes.
What is the single highest revenue that you made in any month in your life?
I think it would be 6 lakhs.
6 lakhs in a single month. And how did it feel that month?
I can't tell you. It feels like, you've climbed the mountain and you're on the peak.
Yes. But let's say you are still on a plateau and there is another peak that you will someday reach 10 lakhs a month or 20 lakhs a month.
That's the goal, because once you reach that, you feel, okay, what next?
Yes.
You never want to stop, and that's how I think an entrepreneur is. So once you reach that, my next goal in the next 3 months is 10 lakhs in revenue as an agency. Once that happens, there will be a second peak.
Yes.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So now that you talked about communities, tell us a little bit about your experience in the AlphaClub community.
I think my experience in AlphaClub was because of the community. I would like to tell a little story here. So back in 2023 January, I got an opportunity to attend Goa Beachside Summit by Gigi. I had seen someone's WhatsApp story and I saw that all the marketers from my field would be there and it would be a chance for me to meet everyone in person. So I take a decision within 2 days. I travel down to Goa, I come to the event, and by the evening, once the event is over, I see a table where people are chilling, talking to each other, and I'm very curious to know that who these people are and why are they wearing similar t-shirts. So I go up to them and ask them that, how long do you know each other? They're wearing AlphaClub t-shirts, and I ask them how long it has been together. So they tell me 3 days. And I am blown thinking that how can someone who's met 3 days ago be so close and chattering or ek dusre ki tongue kheench rahe, and that is the moment I felt this is what I want. If I be a little honest here, I would say that the kind of learning we are getting, somewhere it is available on all platforms. It is available on YouTube. but the time that you get with the mentors like this one, sitting one-on-one, or the community that you get where you can, when you are in a problem, you can go out to like-minded people or people who are in a similar situation as you. I can go to other people and say, what is happening with you? What are you doing in your business? It becomes very easy, and that is the community I was looking for. And in AlphaClub, I think the biggest support I got was that learning from what other people are doing, what I could do better, leveraging strategies that I was not leveraging up until this moment. Email marketing was one of my biggest breakthroughs to understand that lead generation is not the game of getting the leads. Lead generation is the game of keeping them nurtured and then serving them before you sell. And having that circle where your mindset is on a complete different shift. I don't know if I should say this or not, but a lot of times now when I go back to my previous circles, I feel disconnected. I don't feel like I belong there anymore, whereas I've come from there. So I think that mindset shift of living with people who are living your best life becomes a game changer.
Yes. As they say, you should always hang out with people who are better than you.
Yes.
Even though it will put you in a very uncomfortable position that you also have to grow, that discomfort is what will push you out of your comfort zone.
Right. Didi, I want to be rich. That's why I'm hanging out with you.
Then buy Bitcoin. All right. So now, in terms of the future goals, so let's say you hit 10 lakh a month in revenue, 20 lakh a month in revenue.
Yeah.
What do you think would be the next stage? So with an agency, the way I look at it is that you cannot scale beyond a particular point, and you don't want to scale beyond a particular point because it becomes too chaotic.
Right.
And clients also expect a certain level of involvement from the founder itself when it becomes a services agency.
Right.
So the way I look at it is that the kind of tools that you are using for your clients, tomorrow you could invest in building such tools by yourself.
Right.
So have you thought of any such tools that has come to you as an idea for building your own micro SaaS?
I definitely have, because I'm working for the coaches. So I realize that sometimes it gets difficult for them and burns their pocket going to different kind of tools. They have to go for a video tool separately. They have to go for an email marketing tool separately. And the tools that we have today, which are a all-in-one tool, do not give the advantage of individual tools. Like for example, if I say ConvertKit as a tool has very advanced email marketing with liquid templating and all those things coming in. But if I go with the all-in-one tool that is available in the market, would not have the features of ConvertKit. And that is the problem, because I realize the importance of email marketing. So I know how much it is important to have email marketing as an advanced tool for coaches. So in my mind, I want to do something for the coaches that I work with, wherein they do not have to invest in multiple tools, yet get the advantage benefit of what they were getting in the individual tools.
Yeah.
So that is in my mind, but I don't know how far will I go.
The reason why I say that it could be a possibility in the future is because just like the social media, internet, and the penetration of internet has brought in a lot of content creators today. Like anyone can create a content, and we don't need any license or a permission to publish content. Earlier you had TV, radio, newspapers and magazines, and they needed some license or some kind of permission to create content and distribute the content. Today it has become permissionless. Similarly, when it comes to software, there is a certain barrier of entry today, which means that engineers have to sit and code and develop. You need to pay a lot for the engineers. So for that, people need to raise a lot of money. And we have companies like HubSpot, Salesforce, who were the earlier software companies who transitioned from enterprise software to SaaS. But from SaaS, I think there will be a transition to micro SaaS, because just like internet enabled content creators, AI is going to enable software creators. So you can create very customized software for your niche audience, and you might not need like an engineering team or a development team. You probably need 1 or 2 developers, and the developers' assistants won't be junior engineers, it will be AI. So when I look at development, it is like a language that we cannot speak. So imagine if you have an island and there are like 10,000 people in the island and their economic situation is very bad. You can go set up a factory in that island, manufacture a lot of goods for like really cheap and export it to other countries and make a lot of money. But if you don't know to speak the local language of the people in that island, then you need somebody who can speak that language, and you need to pay that person a lot. Now imagine computers who can run automated tasks is that people who are like ready to work for you for very cheap. Because computers can run on servers, the software can run for like pretty much nothing. It can run 24/7.
Right.
But you need a translator. That translator is a developer. So you are telling the developer that, hey, this is the kind of app that I want. And the developer is going ahead and telling the computer through coding language that behave in this particular way.
Yes.
If somebody clicks here, then show the screen, this happens, database, MySQL database, or whatever the technical language might be. But imagine that when US discovered this idea of outsourcing because of internet, US companies established in India, and Indians had to increase their language proficiency to work for these companies.
Yes.
And Indians had to speak their language, which is like become comfortable with English to work in all the IT companies that have come in the past 20 years, like HCL, Infosys, Wipro, whatever the company might be. So now that is what computers are doing, that the computers are understanding our language through AI.
Yes.
So to instruct the computer, I don't need to speak in the computer's language. The computer can understand my language, where I can tell ChatGPT that, hey, I want an app like this. This is how it should behave. Go and do the coding for me.
Yes.
So the computer itself will do the coding for me and develop an app for me. So that way, when creating apps and software and complex software which behaves in very intelligent ways becomes as easy as building a landing page with drag and drop builder. Right. So earlier people used to code the landing page, design the landing page, and then somebody had to code it for a particular platform, and then you had to deploy it. Today you can drag and drop the landing page elements. You can put a title, you can change the design, you can change the color. So similarly, you should be able to go ahead and create a copy of HubSpot if you want, like 10 years down the line.
Yes.
And in that level, the creation of software will not be a barrier of entry, and that won't be your moat or an advantage. And the advantage will be that you have trust and distribution and understanding of what the customer wants.
Yes, correct.
So until then, just keep serving your clients. When we get to that level, probably in the next 3 to 5 years, that it becomes so easy to build apps. Then you can start building apps for your clients and charge like a monthly fee.
Yes, because it has now relatively become very easy to use AI to practically do anything that you would want. And like you said, it's just a prompt, a few prompts and things are done. Even websites today are built on a single prompt. So it will become relatively very easy. Having said that, like you said, that I know the customer so damn well that when I give that prompt, I exactly know that what the customer wants and how they want it, so that the app that comes out is extremely helpful for them.
Yes, amazing. All right, so what do you think about the AlphaClub offline events?
I love them. I live for them. Because I really feel that if you are able to meet in person, the energy is different. If you've met someone on Zoom multiple times versus if you've met the person once offline, the energy is very, very different. You're able to communicate well, you're able to energize well, and that body language that you study for each other completely is different. And that is why a lot of times I crave to meet the clients in person. But since we work with clients across the globe in different cities, that's not possible. But the clients that I've met in person, it gives a different feeling, because the conversation is not just limited to professional then.
Yes.
Once your work is over, you would also talk about what you're doing in life, your personal stuff as well, or you would, become friends. Even if you don't work, you would be acquaintances.
Yes.
Versus whatever we are communicating on Zoom phases out after a while. So I think physical events are definitely important for a community to stay connected.
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, Manmeet, for being part of AlphaClub and being a great addition to the AlphaClub community. Looking forward to working with you again.
Thank you so much, Didi. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.